Okay, so we're just going to do a little where we're at with walkies kind of recap here. So I'm still feeding her fairly frequently in heel position here. This is a very quiet area, and she walks quite nicely in a quiet area like this. Hey, don't jump up, please. Thank you. Gets a little too excited for food sometimes, but otherwise she's doing okay. So I'm still feeding her very frequently, so I suggest you bring treats with you. Oops, and if she jumps out ahead, we just stop, and when she gets back, then she gets to have her goodie. Now when you're in a busier area with lots of people around, she kind of loses a few brain cells and just is in a bit of a flight mode, which is what she's doing when I take her out to the coffee shop just to hang out and stuff too. She tries to run away when people, what are you doing? You have to go pee? Yeah, thought so. She tries to run away. So that's normal husky stuff. They generally have a strong flight over fight drive. So if they're feeling scared or whatever, they just tend to run. It's normal. She's much more husky-ish than Pomeranian-ish, I find. So when you're in a busier area, you want to keep the treats frequent still. But if she's not eating treats, that's a sign too that she's overwhelmed. Sit. And you might need to, go somewhere quieter or try creating space if you can. Like, so if this was an option, and it was really busy on this sidewalk, I would be walking like over here on the other side of the trees. So again, we're walking on the left-hand side here. I'm allowing some sniffing. She needs to gain confidence in different environments. We haven't been on this street before, so that's something that's important for her. Sniffing and exploring and having fun. We want her having positive experiences when she's out. Like when I had her in a Soyuz or Nelson or Grand Forks or any, or even downtown here at the coffee shop where it's quite busy. She's really nervous of people touching her. She doesn't want anyone coming up to her. So, and because she's so beautiful, people are always like, ooh, looking at her, making eye contact, and it's scary for her. So no, we will not encourage people to touch her. So, if you're walking her and someone says, like, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful dog, and they go to touch her, just say no, or just say, hey, we're training, like, please don't touch my dog, or, she's a little bit scared, so please back away. She needs you to advocate for her and keep people away, because she just doesn't like it, and it's making it difficult for her to get past it, because she thinks that people are going to come try and touch her, which I can see why that would be challenging when you have her out, because she's cute and everybody wants to touch, like literally everybody wants to touch her. So I don't know if other than when I walk my own Old English sheepdog, I don't know if I've ever been bombarded so much by people, oh, so beautiful, and like staring at her from, anyways, it's tough because she doesn't like it. So you really, like, you constantly have to be like, no, sorry, no, sorry, no, you can't pet her, no. But you can see how relaxed she is when there's nothing really around. Like, there's a little bit of activity. There's cars going by, and I think someone just got out of their car there. But it's quite quiet. Like, it'd be like an extremely quiet residential. This is kind of like a mixed residential business, and the businesses are all closed. Oops. Let's go. So I don't know how busy it is in your neighbor, excuse me. So she's just switched to my right side, so I'm just stopping till she comes back over to the correct place. Good dog. Good dog. Yes. So that nice loose leash walking. I'm only walking. Whoops. Do you need to do a poo or something? Or you just want to sniff? You just want to do sniffs. Yeah, there's a couple people across the street, and you'll see her, like, already you can tell that she's feeling a little weird, because she's like, ooh, dragging ahead a little, losing some control. And that happens whenever there's people around, because she gets a little nervous, and then she forgets what she's supposed to be doing. So I'm keeping my treats a bit closer together. So I'm just only feeding her like every couple steps. There's some people right here. Big girl. So she's still eating, so that's good. As soon as she stops eating, that's a sign to you that she's completely overwhelmed. And you've put her in a situation where she's too nervous. So you can stop walking and just take a break and stand on the grass for a bit. Yes. Oops, I dropped some. Sorry. Step off to the side if you can, or just, you know, end your walk and go back home or go back to your car. Excuse me. Good girl. That bouncing will go away on its own as long as you don't feed it. So when I'm giving her a treat, you see how she's panting? Like that? It's like 6 degrees out. She was panting there, yeah, with her mouth open. That's anxiety. That's not, she's not hot. Good girl. And so I will give her a little feedback with the leash sometimes. So the treats keep her in line quite well, where she's expecting to be fed. But I do use other techniques here. So if she were to run ahead, it's nice, good girl. If she were to run ahead, I will, and she's going too fast like that, I will give her a little leash pressure. So I'm just grabbing the leash and I'm just pulling back a little bit. Okay, slow down. That's if she starts walking too fast, just like that. Good girl. Which is tough for her because, as I mentioned, she's super high energy. She likes to walk fast. So that's one thing. Just reminding her when she takes off to slow down and walk at human pace. She's a young dog, and most young dogs need reminders. Even if they're usually good on leash, sometimes they start up walking at a trot. So right there, too far. Good girl. Okay, stop jumping and you won't get tangled. See, that's nice right there. She's keeping pace with me. And see how uncomfortable? It's like awkward. It's awkward for her to keep pace with me because her natural trot is much faster. So she has to like kind of turn herself frequently. And if she's really struggling with it, I will do a U-turn. So I'll go this way and I'll just turn around on her and feed her back for coming into position. And we've done that a lot. So yeah. And sometimes I'll do that at the beginning of the walk if the dog is really jazzed up. Good girl. I don't have food in front of her face right now. I just have my hands are just in my pocket. Good. Yes, good dog. Go this way. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. So that's where we are with leash walking, and I'll go over this with you in person too. But I just wanted you to see it on a quiet street because it's going to be pretty busy at drop-off, I think. And I don't know what her mental state's going to be like. So I just wanted to show you what kind of techniques we're using here to keep her, make sure that she's walking nicely. And if your other dog is reactive, don't take them out together. Kind of a hassle, but I don't want her, she stopped barking, and I don't want her to pick it back up just because she's copying the other dog, which is really common. This way. So she's like completely stopped barking, and I would like to see that continue. Nice, good girl. Nice walking. It's so hard. Good girl. But you can see in her body movement how weird it is for her to walk at human pace because she's just a little bullet. It's hard to be a husky. It's hard to be a Pomsky. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. You're excited to go home and see your family? Pretty soon. Just a few days.